Welcome to Hello Baltimore County. I'm your host, Ellen Kobler. Well, it's wintertime, so that means we get our share of chilly temperatures, snow, and ice. We're very happy to welcome to the studio Tim Goins from the Bureau of Highways and Department of Public Works GIS Program Manager Doug Adams to give us the perspective from behind the snowplow and I guess behind the keyboard. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Tim, tell us a little bit about the realities of snowplowing. You guys have 6,749 lane miles, which seems to me it's the same as driving to California and back in terms of plowing the snow.
Yes, we have several roadways within Baltimore County. The strategy for plowing snow, it could take approximately 4 to 6 hours to salt a route, then another 18 to 24 hours to completely remove the snow from the roadways.
And that's in kind of like a normal mundane storm.
Yeah, a normal one, yes, correct.
Yeah.
The way we attack our routes are the same. We attack the arterial roads first, and then we go to the feeder roads, and then to the subdivision roads.
All right, that sounds kind of technical. What's an arterial road? That means the main roads?
The main drags, yes,
Okay.
and then the other feeder roads, and then the cul-de-sacs and all the neighborhoods and the developments.
Okay, and Baltimore County doesn't do the interstates and the Beltway. That's state
No, that's all state
highways.
stuff. Yes, correct.
Yeah. So obviously, when you get the really big storms, it's frustrating for everybody.
Yes.
And people who are in the neighborhoods and especially the courts and the cul-de-sacs are, sometimes wondering when's the plow going to come. Tell us about those multi-day storms.
Well, when we have significant snowfalls, the residents need to have realistic expectations, and they need to understand that it's going to take us several days to move our crews from the main roads into the neighborhood roads. And then when the snow gets so deep, our trucks can't push them. We have to call in outside forces like loaders and backhoes and stuff like that to move the snow, because that's the only way it can be moved at that point.
You're essentially out there with giant shovels moving the snow. You mentioned the main roads versus the smaller roads. I guess it kind of makes sense if you somehow were to clear the neighborhood streets and then they get to the main road and it's not passable, then that doesn't make sense for anybody or public safety. All right, so this year, Doug, you and your folks have developed a new website for the county called Stormfighter. Will you tell us about that?
Certainly. What we've done is we've created an application suite that probably most important for this conversation is we've got an external application that is available to folks on the county website called Storm Incident Reporting. We've actually set it up to work for other storms, not just simply snow. It has the ability to tell us about things that are going on during flooding events and wind events, kind of like what we had with the derecho years ago when all the trees came down. That information, it gets reported into a single database, so all of the county resources are working off that one database that are responding to a storm event. And then we have the ability to map those incidents and see where they are, but probably most importantly is get that information out to the highway shops and the folks that are doing the work to clear the issues.
Okay, so for somebody who, for example, is kind of stuck in their house for the third day and they're kind of wondering, do they know that I haven't been plowed? I mean, you kind of know what's been plowed, but if somebody has a particular issue that they feel like they need to let the county know, instead of calling the Department of Public Works on the phone and like last year with that huge 3-foot plus storm, people were on the phone a long time. The phone system couldn't handle it. So you've also, so you're encouraging them to go online, but you've also upgraded the phone system a little bit?
Yeah, the call center now is something that we can access from any location. People can actually, the folks that would staff the storm desk can log in from home. It gives them the ability to log calls that are coming into the call center, but we're really encouraging folks to use this new application because it's accessible on smartphones. You can look at it on tablets and use it on tablets or your computer at your house. I guess I'd want to liken the ability to for us to respond is kind of like when you call the BGE outage line. Nobody actually calls you and tells you that your power's back on because you know it is on. So, we encourage people to let us know that their road hasn't been plowed after a suitable length of time after the storm.
So not when the snow is still coming down and it's accumulating 2 feet. Like when is it helpful for somebody to report that their street hasn't been plowed, or what other issues should they let you know about?
Like a few days later, if there's icy conditions, road safety, public safety is always our #1 priority. But we have 164 designated routes throughout Baltimore County. Each route has 50 to 60 roads per route, and we attack them systematically. So we know what roads have been hit and what roads have not been
So
hit.
you haven't forgotten somebody.
No,
It's just that you're still trying to fight the snow drifts and et
And it
cetera.
takes time.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about the training for the snowplow drivers.
Our less experienced drivers, people with 5 years or under, go to something what we call snow college. A snow college is a classroom setting where they learn and watch videos about how to attack the snow, whether it's pushing a cul-de-sac, intersections, four-lane roads, and so forth and so on. And the proper way to go about doing that. Attack it from the middle, push it to the right.
Okay, and when somebody shovels their driveway, of course, it's very upsetting when the plow then comes through later and pushes the snow back on. Any advice for that?
Well, I guess if you're coming out of your house and you're shoveling your driveway, you're going to put some snow out there, push it to the right, so that way when we're going, it's just going to keep moving down the road.
Okay, or even just into your yard,
Yeah.
and not back into the street, right?
Please, not back into the street.
All right, and also I understand that you've increased the salt supplies that are on hand.
Yes, we have 91,600 ton of salt right now
That's a lot
at
of
17
salt.
different locations throughout Baltimore County. We just added 2 more salt domes that hold potentially 20,000 ton apiece.
Okay, so if we get a really bad winter and we're really using up the salt, we'll be very well positioned. Doug, many of the main thoroughfares in the county, as we said, are state roads, not just the interstates, but a lot of the numbered streets. Your Stormfighter app now includes live camera feeds from state highways?
Yes, the Stormfighter app that's available from the county website, you can get to the Maryland State Highway traffic feeds, the cameras and stuff like that, so that you can see what's going on. But the application itself allows us to not necessarily discount, but we know which roads in the internal application, which roads are state roads, which ones are county roads, so we know which information to provide back to the highway shops.
Okay. All right, very good. Well, it sounds like a good partnership, kind of the low-tech snow plowing and the high-tech communication.
Yes.
So thank you both very much, and you and all your folks be safe out there.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching Hello Baltimore County. And remember, you can connect with Baltimore County government on Facebook and Twitter. We'll see you next time.